Welcome back everybody to Forza Horizon 4, and today we're dealing with another seasonal championship. This one is for England and we're going to be in British cars in B class, so it only makes sense to me to get in this big British Bentley and to get there and see what races we're going to be doing and what cars we can choose from. But I'm expecting Aston Martins, maybe a couple of Jaguars, Vauxhall, you know the like. So yeah, let's get some specifics first before we get excited about what we're going to be getting in. So let's see what races.
Come rain or shine, this spring seasonal will be fun. Trust me.
So yeah, a couple of Aston Martins here. We've got the DB4 GT Zagato and the DBR1. And then three more Aston Martins under the James Bond edition moniker, the Aston Martin V8, the DBS and the DB5. Don't quite understand why the James Bond version of the DB5 is higher rated than the normal version, because the normal version is only in C class, so yeah, always been a bit, you know, dubious about that, to be honest. But then we've got the Jaguar XES, which I've actually really rather liked before, and yeah, do really like driving. It's a really rather solid mid-sized saloon. Then we've got the Range Rover Velar, yeah, rather decent off-roader. Does feel a bit like a kind of car that you'd buy because you can't afford a higher class Range Rover, but yeah, still a great SUV in its own right, and I really do like the engine it's got going. Then we've got the Lotus Elise 111S, which is a pretty damn decent sports car, even though it's quite lacking in power. Then we've got a brace of minis. We've got the off-road buggy, then we've got a convertible John Cooper Works, normal John Cooper Works GP, and the even more normal John Cooper Works. So yeah, John Cooper Works is dominating the minis, to be honest. We don't really have any plain Jane minis on this game, which is a bit unfortunate because I would like to see what they're like. Then we've got the Napier Railton with the largest engine on this game at 24 litres, because it's a airplane engine. And then we've got a brace of Vauxhalls, the Corsa VXR, Astra VXR, Insignia VXR, and the Lotus Carlton, which, yeah, was the fastest saloon car back in the day, to be honest. So yeah, I think we'll start off with a car that I really do like driving, and that's the Aston Martin Dbs. Not the most well-renowned car to be used in the James Bond series. It was only used once and then made a brief appearance in the background in another one. But yeah, great engine, straight 6X engine, and it's got 325 horsepower, 290 pounds-feet of torque, bang on 50-50 weight distribution, doesn't weigh all that much, and yeah, has fairly good stats. So let's see what the DBS can do for us first. Hopefully it will get us a good start on this championship. But either way, I do really enjoy driving this. It doesn't really matter if it's a great car or not, it's about whether or not you enjoy driving it, and I really do enjoy driving this. And at the end of the day, this made up for the basis of the first ever V8 Vantage in the late 70s. Same kind of body, but yeah, bigger engine and a bit more in the way of power. But still, I like the inline 6 in this quite a bit, which is despite me being a massive V8 fan, but yeah, really do like the inline 6 in this. Still feels quite meaty despite having 2 less cylinders and not all that much in the way of torque. Also sounds fairly good as well. And with that lack of weight and that 50-50 weight distribution, you've got plenty of confidence to sling it into corners, and you know full well it's going to bring itself back. It's a great shame that this car didn't get more use in the James Bond series. In fact, in the one appearance that it does make, in terms of being driven and used, didn't even have any gadgets. So yeah, it's a bit of a shame. But when the new James Bond film eventually comes out, I will be looking at it. A couple of the James Bond cars I've yet to review. I think it's a Z8 and a DBS from 2008 that I have yet to review, so yeah, we'll definitely give them a look at around the time of the new film releases, whenever that will be, after being delayed several times. Good reason obviously, but it's still a shame that it has been delayed. Just hope I can actually see it in the cinema, because I'd hate to watch a new James Bond film on the small screen for the first time. Do seem to be struggling to keep up with an E-Type up front. I have no idea who's in second and first. Does have a fair bit of understeer despite that 50-50 weight distribution, but obviously you can still means you can sling it around in terms of oversteer and catch it, but yeah, the understeer is a little bit problematic. Come on, catch up the E-Type. The E-Type wasn't even supposed to be that quick in its original form. It's definitely better at fast corners than slower corners though, so hopefully we can make up some ground on these last few bits. Morgan Freewheeler and a Lotus. No surprise the Lotus is in front, but I am surprised the Morgan Freewheeler is. Come on, gain on the Freewheeler. Yes, just nipped second place there, I think. Yeah, we did. But no surprise that the Lotus Elise that we talked about earlier is in first place, because that is a superb handling car and braking car as well, despite having not much in the way of power. But yeah, to come in second place after being lingering in fourth for a while is, yeah, still a good position. So yeah, nonetheless, let's get on to the second race. So yeah, we got beaten by the little scoundrel that is that Lotus Elise, so let's see if something a bit more modern stands us in good stead. Obviously we've got a few modern Vauxhalls to choose from, which are fairly decent in terms of handling, but only really the Insignia is any good in terms of acceleration. But I think maybe Jaguar might be the best option, to be honest. Still rear wheel drive like the DBS, but it's got better acceleration, better handling and braking, better launch, and yeah, higher top speed as well. Not by a lot, but enough. And yeah, it's got 340 horsepower, so a little bit more in way of power, substantially more in terms of way of torque. Does weigh more, but yeah, being more modern, it should be a better handling car, and yeah, hopefully quicker as well. So obviously weighing more. Yeah, this is really one of my favourite mid-size saloons. Don't have all that many on this game though, to be honest, but yeah, this is well up there with the best of them. Wish we had more of these mid-size saloons, to be honest, because a lot of the saloon cars that we do have are quite large, as this is reasonably small, as you can see. It's much bigger than a hatchback, so yeah. And then at the end of the day, it's got a nice supercharged V6 engine going for it as well, which is very lovely. Got that angle completely wrong. My fault, not the cars. Yeah, I love the engine. It's not often you get supercharged engines anymore, so have a Jaguar V6 supercharged engine is really nice, and it revs up to 7,000 RPM as well, and sounds pretty good at that as well. So yeah, plus it looks good, like a lot of Jaguars do. Even though it's not got 50-50 weight distribution, it still feels really tight and stable and controlled. And at the end of the day, 340 horsepower is hardly a small amount. Sure, it's not as much as, you know, your bigger Jaguars or bigger saloon cars. Oops, tried to nick into that gap there and that did not work. But yeah, it's still more than enough for everyday use, and even on tracks as well, to be honest. But highly doubt you see one of these on the track, to be honest. I got that line wrong again, didn't I? Talk about never learn. I've got a Mini up front. It's interesting, to be honest, to have a larger car like this with rear wheel drive and more than 300 horsepower against a front wheel drive around 200 horsepower hot hatchback. Reminds me of the old touring days when the original Mini was going up against far larger cars. Pretty good though in terms of fast, as far as fast minis go. But outright power wins the day when it comes to a straight. Corner better that time round. Selling point with me with this car though is that despite having just rear wheel drive and a fair decent amount of power, it's reasonably easy to control when sliding it around. Especially for a car that probably was never meant for really drifting, to be honest. Cars are set up for drifting, quite frankly, but it's always nice to see when a car can do it, and in a way that is easy and manageable and able to regain control of the car when necessary. And there we go, our first win of this championship, and yeah, a pretty solid one as well, with that Jaguar being far quicker than everyone else, as you can see, and yeah, more than a second ahead of the Mini. And the Vauxhall Corsa from 2009 was in third, which is surprising given it's not the most powerful Corsa ever, and then the Jaguar XK120 in fourth, and then an Astra from 2012 in fifth. So yeah, now we're drawn alongside with the Mini with 36 points apiece, the Corsa in third with 28, the classic Jaguar in fourth with 22, and the Astra from 2012 in fifth with 18. So yeah, still everything to play for in the third and final race, so let's get there and see what happens. So the Jaguar there was really rather quite impressive. I know we weren't up against, say, a Lotus Elise, but even the Mini was giving us a good run for our money, and you'll see why when I show you its stats off. You see 215 horsepower, 206 pounds-feet of torque in something that only weighs 2,557 pounds. So yeah, 5.8 acceleration to our 6, but obviously we weigh well over 1,000 pounds more, which is more than enough to make up for the this car's 125 horsepower deficit. So yeah, that's why that was as quick as it was, and handling wise it's pretty good as well, 5.8 and 5.7 compared to our 5.5 and 5.3 in the Jaguar. So yeah, better handling car with less weight and still a really good amount of power is why that Mini was so difficult to get past at times. And yeah, obviously if I was sliding around as much as I was, then yeah, obviously that's why I was able to catch up as well. So yeah, I think we'll end with, say, the Range Rover Velar. It's a really rather good sports utility vehicle. Same size engine as the Jaguar. I think it's also the same engine, in fact, overall. I think it is also supercharged. But obviously this weighs more, so it's got a bit more in the way of power. Got the same amount of torque though, so yeah, but it's got more power. So yeah, let's see what it can do. Now this is obviously all-wheel drive, unlike the previous two that we've used, which were rear-wheel drive. And obviously they were far more sporty, sport orientated, being, you know, rear-wheel drive, sports saloon car or a sports coupe. So yeah, let's see what a sports off-roader can do. Well, the idea of a sports off-roader is a little bit silly to me, but they do in some cases work. So let's see what this new Range Rover can do. I do want the whole really rather like this. I like the look of it, and yeah, the engine being a Jaguar engine means it's nice and revving, but it also sounds good, and yeah, it also has plenty of power and torque. Obviously it's not to the same kind of levels of power and torque as say a V8 powered Range Rover, but it's not bad at all. And at the end of the day it weighs far less than say a full fat Range Rover, so there is that. Holding our own against the far lighter sports cars though. Oh, I imagine the Lotus Esprit there, despite being in C-Class, hasn't been upgraded that much to get into B-Class. What are we up against up front? It looks like another Mini, to be honest. Which version, I am not sure. As you can see, this is no slouch in terms of top speed. Towards 140 miles an hour, which is not bad. I think we're up against the 2009 John Cooper Works Mini, not the GP version, just the slightly more bog standard version, but it is still more powerful than say a standard Mini would ever be. And better handling as well. Would in all intents and purposes like to see the return of the first ever reimagining of the Mini though, to be honest, because it's been a long time since I've had that version on, and yeah, it would be nice to see how that car performs in today's standards. I think the Range Rover is going to come up a little short here. We're not able to quite keep up with that Mini. It's just too lightweight and too agile for us. But hopefully second place will be enough. Quite frankly, considering it's been up against far more, far lighter vehicles with far better handling, that is pretty good from the Velar. But yeah, we come up 4 points short ahead of the 09 John Cooper Works Mini, which is a shame, but that's just the way it goes. Sometimes you don't win everything. But yeah, still 3 fun cars that we chose to drive in this championship, and 3 remarkably different vehicles as well, despite 2 of them sharing the same engine. But nonetheless, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.